Hello everyone, I am Yogini Shweta Mishra and today we are going to start our new chapter of the second unit, that is Introduction of Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Hatha Yoga Theory. According to the Puranas, only a human being deserves to study the science of Hatha Yoga. This practice bestows peace and pleasure to the mind of a practitioner. This Hatha Yoga should be taught only to that person who follows the mentioned practices in the holy scriptures, the Vedas, who is desireless, who observes yamas and niyamas like regulations, who keeps himself away from all kind of bondages of this world, who is a scholar, who conquers his anger, who is truthful, whose interest is in maintaining righteous behavior, who dedicates himself at the feet of his guru, who is the caretaker of his parents, who observes his duties in compatibility with his ashrama, who has a virtuous mindset and who has inquisitiveness for knowledge. Like a house protecting one from the heat of the sun, Hatha Yoga protects its practitioner from the burning heat of the three tapas. And similarly, it is the supporting tortoise, as it were, for those who are constantly devoted to the practice of yoga. This means for the utmost grief-stricken people, Hatha Yoga is like a mat, the abode which provides shelter. Generally, people have a wrong notion about the term Hatha. They think Hatha is a function which is done with stubbornness and is in an insisting manner beyond the body capacity. But actually, Hatha is derived from two Bij mantras, Ha and Ta, meaning the sun and the moon respectively. While defining yoga, the scriptures of yoga say, Hakar kirti tha Suryasya Thakar Chandraya Uchyate Surya Chandramasya God Hatha Yogo Nigadyate. Siddha Siddhanta Paddhati gives this definition of yoga. The term Hatha is the union of two letters, that is Ha and Ta. Here, Ha means the sun, Ta means moon. Hatha means the yoga to bring balance between the sun and the moon, or the Ida and Pingla nadis in us. With this union, the Kundalini, which is in latent state, would be awakened and begin its upward journey through the Sushumna Nadi. Crossing all the Shat chakras, it moves ahead towards the Sahasrara. There it unites with Shiva. This is the union of Atma and the Paramatma. With this union, the ignorance of the practitioner would be eliminated and he then glimpses the radiance of divine enlightenment. All the sufferings would be uprooted. Therefore, this state of the union is called yoga. This is the valid sense of Hatha Yoga. The aim of Hatha Yoga is to control the body and mind, because only then can the spiritual aspirations be fulfilled. To make this union possible, the practices of Shatkarmas, asanas, pranayam, mudras and bandhas, pratyahara, and Nadanusandhan, etc. are described. Hatha Yoga Pradipika describes 4 important steps for the purpose: asanas, pranayam, mudras and Nadanusandhan. System of Hatha Yoga. The system of Hatha Yoga was designed to transform the gross elements of the body so that they can receive and transmit a much subtler and more powerful energy. If the body is not prepared for this higher form of energy, it would be like running 200 volts of electricity into a machine which only has the capacity to utilize 6 volts. The machine would definitely burn out. So, Hatha Yoga systematically prepares the body, mind and emotions so there will be no difficulties when the aspirant is undergoing higher states of consciousness. Traditionally, Hatha Yoga consisted only of Shat Karmas. These were the practices of Dhoti, Vasti, Neti, Loliki, Tratak and Kapalabhati. Later, Hatha Yoga also came to include asanas, pranayam, mudras and bandhas, and the Shatkarmas were practiced afterwards by the advanced practitioners. Through these practices, the consciousness can be raised without having to come into a direct confrontation with the mind. Through Hatha Yoga, you regulate the body secretions, hormones, breath, brain waves and prana. Then the mind automatically becomes harmonious. Hatha Yoga is the means and Raja Yoga is the goal. Hatha Yoga is the stairway leading to Raja Yoga. Once the sadhaka reaches the stage of Raja Yoga, Hatha Yoga ceases to be necessary for him. By first prostrating to the Guru, Yogi Swatmarama indicates that he is only a tool of transmission for the knowledge which is to be impaired. It has been also emphasized that Hatha Yoga is to be practiced for the sole purpose of preparing oneself for the highest state of Raja Yoga, that is Samadhi. Originally, a sadhak practiced Hatha Yoga for many years to prepare himself for the awakening of Kundalini, or in terms of Raja Yoga, for the experience of Samadhi. Today, yoga is generally practiced to improve or restore health, to reduce stress, to prevent the body from aging, to build up the body or beautify it. Hatha Yoga does fulfill these objectives, but it should be kept in mind that they are certainly not the goal. As one practices Hatha Yoga techniques, one's physical and mental potential begins to increase and unfold. We know that humans utilize only 1/10 of their brain capacity. Rest is dormant, waiting to be activated. Science calls the dormant brain the silent area. Little is known about its capacity, but neurologists say it has something to do with man's psychic potential manifesting, maybe in the form of clairvoyance, clairaudience, telepathy, telekinesis, psychic healing, etc. These are called the siddhis or perfections. Some people regard them as a grand achievement, but they are only temporary manifestations which can even hinder further spiritual progress. The goal of all yogic sadhana is to discover and experience the universal spirit within. And if siddhis are indulged in, they take one away from the ultimate experience. Therefore, they are better ignored as the non-desired fruit of Hatha Yoga. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika is a classical manual on Hatha Yoga. It is said to be written in the 15th century in Sanskrit by Swami Swatmarama, a disciple of Swami Gorakhnath. The Hatha Yoga Pradipika contains instructions on the practice of postures, breathing exercises, and purification techniques, as well as description of mudras and bandhas, the practices of which lead to a state of spiritual liberation. Swatmaram's Hata Yoga Pradipika propounds the Chaturanga, yoga with 4 limbs. These 4 limbs are asanas, pranayam, mudra, and bandhas, and nadanusandhan. The main contents of each of the 4 chapters describing the Chaturanga Yoga are as follows. Chapter 1 is asanas. This chapter lists the names and descriptions of the asanas, the concept of yogic diet, that is mitahara, the 6 factors that act as obstacles on the path of yoga practice, the 6 factors that facilitate yoga practice, the 10 jnanas, the 10 yamas, and the 10 niyamas. Chapter 2 is pranayam. The chapter deals with the 10 different types of pranayams and their techniques and effects. It also deals in detail with the 6 purification practices called Shatkarmas, their techniques and effects. Chapter 3, Mudras. This chapter deals with the 10 types of mudras and bandhas, their techniques and effects. It also deals with the Kundalini and practices for its awakening. Chapter 4, Nad Anusandhan. This chapter deals with the concept of Nad Anusandhan, the various stages of Nad Anusandhan, the Shambhavi Mudra, descriptions of Samadhi, the relationship between prana and mind, etc. So, with this, we come to the end of the 3rd chapter, that is Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Thank you.